The $500,000 combine harvester sat frozen in the Missouri dust. Its massive header was lowered, its engine cold. Bryce Sterling stood before it, his Italian loafers already coated in prairie dust. He pointed a finger at the weathered farmer beside him. He's the problem. His superstition, his refusal to trust the data. Bryce turned to CEO Evelyn Reed. This man is delaying a $500 million demonstration over dirt. His concerns are dirt under the fingernails superstition. He's a relic. Wyatt Holt stood silent. He took off his Agrimax cap. He placed it on the desk. He walked out without a word. He had no idea the farmer he just called a relic was the only person who understood the machine's secret language, and that in 72 hours, Bryce would be begging for his help on his knees. What was hiding inside that silent titan? 3 days before the silence, the field was alive. The Titan 9000 Combine was the star, a monster of green and yellow steel, built to impress a Brazilian agricultural consortium and secure a contract worth $500 million. Wyatt Holt walked the end rows. His boots knew this soil. He'd worked this land for 12 years. He was a farmer, not an engineer, not an agronomist. His tools were calloused hands and a deep, quiet patience. He felt it first with his feet. The soil was wrong, too loose. He pulled a stalk of wheat, rolled the head between his thumb and forefinger. The yield was low, too low for the numbers flashing on the Titan's digital dashboard inside the cab. That night, he sat in the equipment shed office, cross-referencing data streams on an old monitor, the security gate logs, the combine's internal clock. He found the ghost in the machine, a calibration update, logged at 3:17 a.m., a time when the gate logs said the field was empty. No one was there. The next morning, he took his evidence to Bryce Sterling. Bryce's office smelled of new leather and expensive cologne. His polo shirt was spotless. Wyatt, the Brazilians land tomorrow. This is not the time for hunches. The numbers are a lie, Bryce. The rotor is overclocked. The yield monitor is doctored. Run it at demo capacity, and it won't just fail. It could burn. Bryce smiled a thin, patient smile. Your concerns are noted, but the data is the data. You're a farmer. We do agri-science here. He slid a safety certificate across the desk. Sign it. Wyatt looked at the pen, then at Bryce. The dirt is the data, he said softly. And the dirt doesn't lie. He didn't sign. An hour later, CEO Evelyn Reed called him to her office. Bryce was there, a file open on her desk. It was a report on Wyatt Holt, asterisk resistant to innovation, slows project timelines, a technological nostalgist, asterisk. Bryce's words. Wyatt, I need a unified team, Evelyn said, her voice strained. I'm sorry. Wyatt placed his company key card on her desk. He looked at Bryce. That machine will fail. And when it does, don't try to force it. You'll burn the whole field down. As he walked out of the building for the last time, he paused by the desk of Maria, a young data engineer. He slipped her a folded piece of graph paper. If the steering locks, he whispered, look at this. Bryce watched from the doorway. He said nothing. The morning of the demonstration dawned bright and clear. The Titan 9000 sat poised in a sea of gold. Camera Cruz. Dignitaries. The Brazilian clients were minutes away. Bryce gave a signal. The engine roared to life. Then came a sound. A sharp, electronic bleat from the cockpit. The entire guidance system locked solid. Steering. Frozen. Threshing rotor. Dead. An error code blinked on the screen. E47. A code that appeared in no manual. No database. Panic. Engineers scrambled. They reset systems. They swapped modules. The Titan was a statue. Evelyn Reed arrived, her heels sinking into the soil. Timeline, Bryce. It's a complete system fault. We need days. We have 20 minutes, she said, her voice a low wire of tension. That's when Maria spoke up, voice trembling. She was holding Wyatt's folded graph paper. I know what it is. Bryce snatched the paper from her. It was a hand-drawn schematic, a messy web of lines and arrows. In the margin, in slanted handwriting, Astra's primary and backup guidance must be handshaken before full operation, or they'll fight each other to a standstill. Asterisk. Handshaken, Bryce scoffed, crumpling the paper. It's gibberish. Superstition. The man is a saboteur. It's not gibberish, Maria said, her voice finding strength. It's an old term. He's saying the systems are out of sync. They need a manual trigger to talk to each other. Evelyn looked from Bryce's panicked face to the silent, failing machine. She made a decision. Call him. The phone call went straight to voicemail. For 23 minutes, they waited. 23 minutes of corporate smiles plastered over a rising tide of terror. The Brazilian delegation's cars were visible at the far end of the access road. Bryce refused to try the fix. He called it a witch doctor's ritual. He and his team huddled in the climate control cab of a support truck, frantically rewriting code, trying to bypass the entire guidance architecture. It was a brute force approach. Dangerous. Evelyn watched them from outside, the morning sun heating the back of her neck. She felt the weight of the silence from the Titan. It was a $4.2 million monument to her mistake. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Just 2 words. Over the phone, they heard the crunch of gravel as a vehicle came to a stop. A door opened and closed. That's the conflict seed number. The primary and backup are arguing over who has control. The number proves it. Now listen carefully. Push the button. Hold it for 3 seconds. Then release. Tell me what the screen says. Inside the support truck, Bryce saw what was happening. He threw open the door. Reed, what is she doing? She's going to fry the entire logic board. He started striding across the field, his face a mask of fury and fear. In the cockpit, Maria pressed the button. She counted. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. She released. The small screen went blank. For a heart-stopping second, nothing happened. Then, a new number flashed. C8-001. It changed. Maria said, C8001. Congratulations, one. Wyatt's voice came back. A trace of warmth. You just introduced them. Now get down from there. As Maria descended the ladder, Bryce reached the base of the Titan. Get away from there. You have no authority. He turned to Evelyn. This is insanity. Letting that janitor direct operations from God knows where. I have it under control. Do you, Bryce? Evelyn's voice was quiet, deadly. What's your timeline now? We're minutes away from a hard reset. And if that doesn't work, it will work. The roar of a poorly tuned engine cut through the tension. All heads turned. An old, mud-spattered pickup truck, a model so old it seemed held together by rust and memory, rattled to a stop just outside the demonstration perimeter. The driver's door creaked open. Wyatt stepped out. He was still in his worn jeans and boots. He didn't look at the crowd, or at Evelyn, or at the fuming Bryce. He walked straight to the Titan's front grille, placed a hand on its warm surface, and closed his eyes for a second, as if listening to its heartbeat. Then he turned to Bryce. Your hard reset. It targets the primary guidance module. Am I right? Bryce was too stunned to lie. Yes, to force the backup to take over. And when you do that, Wyatt said, pulling a work glove from his back pocket, you'll send a surge through the power distribution bus. The one that's 2 inches from the main fuel line. You'll turn this thing into a pillar of fire. He started walking toward the access ladder. You built a bomb, Bryce. You just didn't know how to arm it. He climbed up and slid into the pilot's seat. From below, they could only see his hands moving across the console. A new sound emerged from the Titan. Not the roar of before. This was a deep, healthy, resonant hum. The console lights that had been a frantic carnival of red and orange now glowed a steady, confident green. One by one, systems came online. The steering column unlocked with a solid thunk. The giant threshing rotor began to turn, slowly, then faster, its blades cutting the air with a sound like tearing silk. Wyatt didn't drive it forward. He simply turned the steering wheel lock to lock, showing the restored, fluid movement. Then he shut the entire system down. The giant machine settled into a peaceful, operational silence. He climbed back down. The Brazilian delegation was getting out of their cars, looking impressed. The crisis was over. Wyatt walked up to Bryce, who stood frozen. His earlier fury evaporated, replaced by a dawning, horrifying comprehension. Wyatt stopped inches from him. His voice was low, for Bryce alone. You called it superstition, an old term. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a worn, folded leather card holder. He flipped it open. Not a driver's license. It was an old ID badge from a place called Agri Dynamo Systems. The title beneath Wyatt's name, Lead Systems Architect, Prototype Division. That old term is in the original design manifest, Wyatt said, his voice barely a whisper. Page 14. My signature is G the bottom. I know because I wrote the damn thing. He closed the wallet and looked past Bryce at the now perfect machine. You didn't read the manifest, did you? Too busy innovating. Bryce's face went pale. The confidence that had been his uniform melted away. He just stared at the faded ID. The truth was a physical weight, and his shoulders sagged under it. The next morning, a mandatory all-hands meeting was called in the main hangar. The entire company, engineers, accountants, sales, and custodians, stood on the concrete floor. The Titan X-7 was the silent guest of honor. Bryce was on the raised platform with the other executives. Gee, he looked like a man waiting for a verdict. The CEO took the microphone. What happened yesterday wasn't just a technical win. It was a reminder. He turned, his eyes scanning the crowd until they landed on Wyatt, who stood near the back, a coffee thermos in his hand. It was a reminder that the most valuable thing we have isn't in our bank accounts. It's walking our floors, often quietly. He gestured for Wyatt to come up. A path cleared for him. The walk felt longer than the hangar. 100 pairs of eyes watched the farmer in worn jeans and a faded flannel shirt take the steps to the stage. The CEO handed him the mic. Before Wyatt could speak, Bryce stepped forward. He took a deep, shaky breath, his voice amplified for everyone to hear. I owe you an apology, Wyatt. A public one. He turned to face the crowd. I dismissed you. I dismissed your experience. I called your knowledge superstition. I was arrogant, and I was wrong. You didn't just save a machine yesterday. You saved this company from a catastrophe I built with my own pride. He turned back to Wyatt, his voice dropping, sincere. I am sorry. Wyatt gave a single, slow nod. Acceptance, not forgiveness. Not yet. That would come later. He lifted the mic. The design has a soul, he said, his voice echoing in the vast space. It's not in the software. It's in the intent. The reason a part goes where it does. You don't innovate by erasing that. You build on it. A week later, a new title appeared on Wyatt's time card, Director of Prototype Integrity. His first act was to reinstate the apprentice program Bryce had shut down. He taught from the original paper manifests, the ink slightly faded, his own handwriting a guide for a new generation. He kept his farm. He still came home with grease under his nails. But now his daughter would sometimes point to the framed Agri Dynamo ID on the wall and tell her friends, that's my dad. He built the giants. The story of the Titan X-7 became company legend, not as a tale of a machine, but of a man who proved that respect is earned not by the title you hold, but by the quiet weight of the work you've done. True value isn't announced. It's revealed, often only when everything else is on the verge of falling apart. And sometimes the person who saves it all is the one you told to take out the trash.